Start again.
Okay.
Okay, and filter interview. Somewhere in Kansas City.
There you go. Alright. How's the new album doing for you guys?
Our new record is doing great. We're really proud of it. We've been playing a lot of songs from the new record on this tour, and the crowd seems to love it. They seem to know the words to the songs, and yeah, it's been great so far. A lot of great positive feedback. Our fans seem to enjoy it.
When I listened to some of it, it has the undercurrents of the early 90s, but with a new energy. Mm-hmm. Is that...
That's exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
I have honestly, ever since Anthems for the Damned, I've wanted to literally really get heavier, like really just be heavy and aggressive and scream a lot. And I got sidetracked on that with Anthems because of the, it was something to do with me and the producer. And then Angels, the trouble with Angels, it was really kind of like, okay, we got a little heavy for a second, but it wasn't the short bus, like just belligerent and improperly recorded, and so we had to have that on the record, and actually we were kind of told to by Greg Wattenberg, and I was like, that's why I wanted to sign with Wind Up, because Greg Wattenberg had said, like, I need the fucking serious, heavy, hey man, nice shot, that kind of stuff. And so that was, once we got that song written, which was What Do You Say, and we did another one, Self-Inflicted, and we did another couple heavy ones. But as soon as that was done, I realized that so much of the 90s were there, but we had also had to, the songwriting was similar, but the production is today. We had to kind of enjoy where music has kind of come in the last 15 years, and especially with electronic stuff and electronic sounds. We even used a lot of the old synthesizers that we kind of wanted to back in the day, but they were so dated as almost 80s sounding analog synth, and so finally, because it's become so timeless, it's like we finally put some old sounding analog synth on it. And so somewhere in there is the answer, but it was designed to have the full impact of the first record as well as like the second record, and then couple that with we've grown and developed, and he's a new guitar player, member of the band, and he's going to have his spin on it too. So
I was wondering if the lineup change had any part of that different energy.
Yeah, I mean, we wrote this record together in the studio. It was just me, him, and producer Bob Marlette, and we literally, we started from scratch in the studio and literally recorded as we went along. So,
which is the filter norm,
right?
And drum machines, and
Absolutely.
No offense to we have a lot of drummers that we've used, but we've got this new drummer that's amazing. His name is Jeff Fab, and he's been out with us for since April. So he's no offense to him, but we were like, this is going to be a drum machine record, just like Short Bus. We're gonna break the rules. We're gonna do things that other bands don't do because they're worried about the perception or whatever. And I mean, it was a very computer generated album.
Does that make the adaptation to the stage any more difficult, or your drummer's talented enough to just pick it up and
oh
key?
yeah. Well, that's
the latter. Yeah, for sure.
That's what's amazing, is he's really gifted, and Phil Buckman playing bass, and he's very gifted. He puts his own spin on some of the stuff, and most of it sounds awesome. I'm just kidding, but yeah, he it's us two in the studio, just like the first one was me and a producer / engineer, Brian Leesgang, and you know, and then this very obvious drum machine, you know, and in an effort to keep the tradition of that, I wanted to have someone that was not only electronically kind of aware, but a great, really great guitar player, because, you know, guitar is a very important instrument to me, and I love it so much. I wanted to enhance it with someone as badass as Johnny.
Nice. Very nice.
Johnny!
I have the What Do You Say video.
Yeah.
I watched the behind the scenes on that one. And I don't remember what that older lady says when she gets licked, but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
What did she say? I
I don't remember what she said. I know we were talking with her before she shot that scene, and she was going over her notes. She was very sweet, actually. We talked to her for quite a while. She actually had a leg injury, remember?
Yeah, the casting for that video couldn't have been any better.
Yeah, yeah.
The casting for that video was, you know, it was like these kids, and you know, their diversity, and they actually had some killer, amazing clothes, and but it looked great on film. And then there was the actual members and the you know the kind of people you encounter, and there's a lot of blonde hair. There's a lot, you know, and. It was wild. I was really happy with it. I like the fact that, like, you know, we're kind of saying, like, you know, I know some people that are kind of like that. I have some people like that in my family that are all about the brand, and you know, what year your BMW was made, and you know, and all that, and they got lost in it somewhere. And you know, to me it was always about, like, well, as long as we have roof over our head and money in the bank, everything's good. Like, it's not about the fucking shit. Although I have said some stupid shit on the internet about owning a BMW and stuff like that. And I've had a BMW, but the reality is that I haven't really cared about, like, things in a long
Material
time.
possessions.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of our generation that would be like that.
Or class. I don't care about class. I don't care about, and I'm talking. I don't mean classy, like a classy. I'm talking about literal
Classification.
You know, wealthy people, middle class, upper middle class. None of that shit means anything to me. Like that, you know, day one. You know, when I was listening to Skinny Puppy in 1987, you know, and Ministry, and you know, and Trent and I were, you know, bumping into each other and starting to talk about industrial music and stuff. Like, him and I were just like, the world is not designed for us. It does not. We don't exist in anything. There's nothing for me out there in that world, business or any of that stuff. You know, having to go to college or any of that kind of shit. It was not made for us. You know, and it's fun to be able to, years later, just kind of throw an example of, like, well, these kids are trying to pull off a prank, and you guys went so crazy over it that it got violent, and the place, I get killed, and the place burns down, and I like the video. I think it's cool.
I thought it was great. I think there's a lot of our generation that can probably relate to it. 15 years ago, I was of that mindset. Why not? I'm going to get in trouble anyway.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing about me is, you know, when I was in the drinking phase of my life, I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to live past 30. And then I started to get to the point where I was like, well, I'm 34 and I'm still here. And I can't, and drinking to death is going to suck. That's going to really suck. And I was like, well, I guess I gotta, like, straighten my shit up. And you know, it's wild to think that, like, you know. But you were saying what? I kind of missed
the door. Just a lot of us, that whole you're gonna get in trouble anyway, so just do it.
Right. Why not? Yeah, the whole fuck it, you know, why not blow something up, or, you know, Yeah, there's going to be a phase in my son's life, I'm sure, where he's going to want firecrackers and he's going to blow up the army man and he's going to want to light something on fire. You know what I mean? Like, there's always that mischievous. I used to have a friend that would light up a tennis ball, dip it in gasoline, and we'd play like hockey, like flaming hockey or something. Like, you know, like
That's awesome.
street hockey. It's actually really dangerous. It's actually really dangerous because I think it was like in the fall and the leaves started to catch on fire.
With this being the last stop on the U.S. tour, what has been the most memorable experience on all this? Or just the experience period?
I think it's, well, I mean, it's just been
I think honestly, it's been the crowds.
yeah, the crowds have been great every night. You know?
Like, it's been, you know, we go out and they're kind of like, oh yeah, great, Filter, great, all right, awesome, let's see it. And then you get halfway through, you know, there's 3 brand new songs that they're listening to and they don't know it because I don't say these are new until after we've played them. I go, hey, what'd you think of that? Those are some classic songs, right? Some really fucking good, you remember?
98, maybe? No. 98 or 99. And it was a very emotional experience just to hear them sing live. And Thunder...
Lightning Crashes.
Right.
Lightning Crashes,
Yeah.
sorry. And I believe I cried.
Wow, yeah.
Music is very emotional for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It has that effect on me, and that's why I do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Visceral.
yeah, have you met fans that have told you that they've changed your life?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
For
been
years.
There's been just an amazing reaction to Filter music, and you know, people like are living on it. Some of them, you know, like I mean that in the sense that, like, you know, someone was just like, you know, if it wasn't for your record, I don't know, man. I don't think I would have been able to get through this part of my life. And it just, when you hear that, you're just like, wow. And you look and, you know, these people are sane, healthy people, but they had to get over something. And it was, you know, it was take a picture. You know, this guy he was abandoned by his father when he was 3. And he was like, I just want to let you know, like, I'm finally over my dad doing that to me. And, you know, I love my new parents, but I couldn't forgive my dad for doing that. And now I'm over it. And you take a picture was the thing that it bridged me to being okay with whatever my dad did. You know, and I was just like, wow. Like, to have an impact on someone's life like that. And, you know, there's a lot of other people that have contacted us, and, you know, it's wild. Sometimes I go like, oh man, I wish we didn't have to play so many shows in a row. I wish we were blah, 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 blah. But then I realized, like, every show there could be someone in the audience that just really needed to be there and hear it, and that's why we're here. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, I was listening to music and it was like, this means more to me than, you know, the sound of, you know, the sound of all these bands I love, like the Rolling Stones and the Clash, and then, you know, like U2, and then even Skinny Puppy and Ministry, and, you know, during my angry teenage years. And it was just, to me, it was like, it's the only thing that I really have that helps me cope, you know. And so here's to music appreciation, you know, because that's really where it all started. I don't even consider myself that great of a guitar player, that great of a singer, but I know that if I could give that back in some way to society, the way that those bands affected me, and I could somehow give back to that and, you know, make a difference, that's the whole point. It wasn't about the cars or the chicks or I didn't do it because of Kiss makeup or something. I didn't want to put on a show. I wanted to, like, literally reach into people's hearts and do something. And that's why Filter music is so dramatic, and it's so, like, intense, you know. I don't think there's a real, like, even Surprise has this like, you know, this anthemic, beautiful, there's no jokes, you know what I mean? I couldn't pull off something that feels like it's silly, you know, or comedic or something. You know, it's filter music has it demands attention, and you need to like be in the right mindset to hear it sometimes. You know, it's not like some of the poppy stuff that you'll hear on you know, pop radio or whatever, but it you know, that's honestly that kind of surprises me about Hey Man Nice Shot, because that was just all about the drama, and that's the biggest song we have, you know. And
do you ever get tired of playing it?
never. Never. It's just the shit. It's like at the end of the show we give them that moment, and then, you know, I'll look back at Jeff and he'll hit the final drums, and I'll just go, you know, we're Filter, you know, or something like that, and they'll just sit there and applaud. Last night they weren't going to stop. They were just going to continue to applaud, and then I interrupted them by like announcing the band members, and you know, and it's like, geez, this is amazing. It was really great.
Well, when you take somebody back 15 years, and that was important to them at the time.
Yeah.
It's the flashback thing is kind of strange.
Yeah, well, they were. I mean, I went and signed autographs after the show. It was. I hear a lot of like, I can't believe how good you guys are. This is awesome. Like, where's the new record? I gotta get it. Stuff like that.
It's great that you guys are that way with your bands. I've
yeah.
met bands that just don't want to be there. They don't.
I didn't when I was first doing it because it was too overwhelming. I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle all the attention. I was just not. I couldn't deal with it. It's weird.
I had one band, you know, all I said to him, because I know people don't want to be overwhelmed, but all I said was, thank you for the music, and they said, whatever. I haven't bought a record since.
Yeah.
You haven't?
Not of theirs.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if it didn't mean anything to them, then...
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. But, you know, there's people out there that are doing this for the wrong reasons, you
Right.
know? I mean...
And we've encountered them as well, you know. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, and we know certain bands that act that way to their fans, and they don't give a shit. So what's the point, man? It's like if you're creating something and you're putting it out there, you obviously want people to hear it. You want people to be affected by it, and da-da-da. And when it does, I mean, you should appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know.
I even see it in our local scene. You know,
Oh,
these bands
yeah.
that think they're better than every other band in the local scene. I work a lot in the local scene.
Yeah. Well, we live in Los Angeles, so there's plenty of that.
Always drama.
Well, it was weird because when I brought my record contract, you know, I left 9 Inch Nails and I got a big record contract, and I was like, I'm going to take this back home and I'm going to bring it back to my friends. And I don't have many friends in Cleveland, but I'm going to come bring it back home and like, you know, be that guy that's the small fish in the big pond, or whatever. Reverse that, strike it. But I went back there and I was the big fish in the little pond, but like literally none of the other bands wanted to have anything to do with me, and I was like, I finally asked, like, well, you know, I've got a record deal, like I'm doing this thing, Filter, you know, like what are you doing these days? Like, so what, are you gonna go meet like Martha Quinn and you're gonna like, you know, you're gonna fucking do interviews and like you're gonna sell out? And I'm like, what? Like sell out? Like the definition of sell out? I was like, well, what do you? Well, okay, so I sold out because I signed with a major label. Okay, well, what are you doing for money? Well, I'm a dishwasher, and I'm fucking like, yeah, we're all dishwashers, and yeah. Like, okay, so you're doing something you don't want to do for money. Who's the sellout? You know what I mean? So, but it was wild, yeah. The attitudes and stuff that you can encounter, and I literally was like, well, fuck it. I pulled out. I grabbed Frank Cavanaugh and moved to Chicago, and then the rest of the band was put together there for that version, for that incarnation. The short bus incarnation.
So, and I can cut this out if you want me to, but I was curious, with the upcoming Stone Temple Pilots tour, if there's any chance of any rekindling of the Army of Anyone, anything.
We have not talked about it. I do have a guitar that was used to do the song Goodbye. And maybe I should bring that guitar. Because I happen to know some folks that might be able to play it. And play our song goodbye. So, I mean, you know, anything's possible. I mean, you know, I remember one time they told me, dude, we need some young blood on our stage, man. Come up and do Hey Man, Nice Shot with us. And I was like, okay. And Scott was like singing the lyrics to Hey Man, Nice Shot, and I was like, hey, where's he going with this? And I started it over, and like, it was really funny. It was great. It was like 1998. I don't know, like, if I would have had a drug test, the beaker would have exploded. But it was really great. It was a great night. I was like, man, this is pretty amazing.
All right. Well, to wrap this up, is there anything that you want your fans to know that can get out there for you?
Oh yeah, we have this touring. Well, when's this coming out?
Probably the 15th.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just our new record is really amazing. It's awesome, and come and see this thing live, because it's actually really great.
Will you have more tour plans after this?
Yeah, we're going on tour with Stone Temple Pilots, and then we're going to continue to tour. I don't know how, but I don't know if it's going to be opening up or a headlining tour through October.
Right. But yeah, and then of course in the new year, you know, we'll resume.
There's going to be a lot of touring this year, but get to see us, because we might not come back for a while after that. So make sure you go to those shows.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.